Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is time for the Boom Bar on your Boom Radio NG. My name is Sola Rogers.
And my name is Dolupo. You know, the one and only. That's me. Yeah.
I needed to wait for that landing. My
Yeah.
name is Tokunbo Ojekunle. Welcome.
It's me. It's me.
Okay.
I'm back. Guess who's back?
Okay.
Back again.
Where did you go? Where have you been?
All over the world.
Okay.
I've been all over the world.
We need to find
All
out.
over. There's one Fuji song like that. I've been all over the world. Is it Kollington?
Don't ask me because
Is
it's
it
not your
Kollington?
generational tune.
I know. Is it Kollington? There's one song like that. Am I wrong?
You're not asking me.
I'm just
My
saying.
generation, right?
Anna before.
Okay. No wahala. Yeah, it sounds like Kollington.
Abi? Am I wrong?
It sounds like,
I don't know.
he wouldn't know. He wouldn't know.
The all over the oh my god, I will remember that song. I will remember before the show ends. I promise to. Any which way.
Abias could also help you.
Yeah. Oh please, anybody that remembers.
That's good.
I don't know if it's the Kollington song, but being all over something like that, something being all over the world or something like that.
I won't help you.
Eh?
I won't help you.
So it means you know it. You just don't want to say it.
I will not help you.
It means you just know it.
It's not.
Be your brother's keeper.
You're not run
All
to.
right, I need to stop this thing.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Excuse
This
me, like
excuse me, what?
excuse me.
That's not what the Boom Bar is about.
Excuse me.
What's it about?
The mobile is everything.
We can
What?
banter.
That
we
one
can,
I would not even agree.
yeah, we can banter and
Uh-huh.
it's thank for the feedback that you guys are telling us. Yes, the introduction and all of that. Yes, thank you.
Are you
God
there?
bless you guys. So, however, today we are going to the courts. There's a lot
I've
happening. There's a lot of security
We're going to
issues
courts
that
with
we
you.
are going to be talking about. And some people want to go on strike or have gone on strike. Some others are thinking of going on strike. The government is begging them. And people are saying that the pump price of petrol might come down. You know, please, strong emphasis on might. Don't, there might be a decrease in the pump price of petrol. This and so many other things. There's someone in Ghana that's complaining about Nigerian movies being shown for free. My guys then will tell me what this story means because I don't understand.
Oh
There's a-
yeah,
there's a lot.
it
There's a lot.
kind of makes sense. His angle makes sense, but
There's a
we'll
lot.
definitely get there. Anyway, as we're moving straight into the show, it's starting from where there's a bit of good news coming from the military, as 16 victims that have been kidnapped for about 46 days have now regained freedom in Katsina State.
That's me. I need to monitor the channel. Sorry.
Anyway, so about 16 victims have been kidnapped, or that were kidnapped have now been released in Katsina State.
That's good news.
That is good news. Yeah, that's into some.
It's not just good news, it's massive news going by the near pandemic level of kidnapping in Nigeria now. It's become the norm, and it's a terrible norm. It shouldn't be a normal situation because people just almost expect to hear this kind of terrible things about Nigeria these days. And we must say kudos to the military, you know, the entire Nigerian military. I'm talking about the police also, you know, I'm talking about the civilian JTF, talking about the Civil Defense Corps, and a whole lot of people, because things are just at one kind of mad crescendo now. The way you can't keep up with this insecurity stories anymore. You can't keep up. You know, we're still hoping to hear good news about the school children that were, you know, kidnapped from Kaduna. We are talking about how some people are saying government should negotiate with terrorists. And one of you guys showed me a video of a BBC reporter who went to speak with a notorious terrorist in Zamfara State, and how, you know, the guy had kidnapped school children. And of course, at the end of the day, he got paid. They had wanted a 300 million naira ransom, and the terrorist on tape is saying that they got paid about 60 million or so. And the BBC reporter asked him, what did you do with the money? He said, we bought more guns.
Well,
You know? So at times, you know, you're looking for a political solution to things like, oh, to save face, oh, let's quickly pay these people and they release the children to us. But you're empowering them to do more.
Exactly.
At the end of the day. So it might sound very harsh, but I also don't subscribe to government, you know, negotiating with terrorists.
it's not sounding harsh, Shola, but let's leave it at that, because for me, the past few days it's been horrible. Headache here and there. Sometimes I sit to eat, I can't focus to even eat, because the kidnapping things has gotten past that crescendo, and it's very, very, very sad. It's saddening because for every time you look at it, it's a recurring decimal, and the way it goes and comes, the way it comes and goes, it's shocking, and only a particular area. That's a very shocking thing, and the other angle to it, which you started off well, and I think I can refer to, is the effort of the military, the armed forces so far. They have been able to do a lot.
There might be a lot of things that, you know, also, I think I was reading it earlier today about 16 people. I think that was in Kaduna, where intelligence report had helped them in the rescuing of, I think around Kajuru, in Kaduna State as well, where they had foiled a kidnapping attempt.
Another one.
Yes, another one. I think it was yesterday.
Okay.
That happened as well. So yes, they're doing a lot. The truth is that they could do a lot more. I was reading news where the Chief of Defense Staff has actually promised that those children will be brought back. There's also reports of how those children are being used as human shields. The governor of the state had talked about how they realized that these people have serious weapons, and they're just not but it's the one thing that always baffles me is not that these people don't have weapons and all that, how these number of children are being moved at the same time.
That baffles me. The other thing that baffles me
how do they move those
about
children?
This mass kidnappings is, and any other kidnapping that's happened, especially in Nigeria, is how they communicate with the parents of the victims. You know, how they communicate with the relatives of the victims. They call them. They talk to them on the phone.
Yeah, they would.
We live in a country that has brought in some stringent rules when it comes to, you know, the use of the mobile phone or any phone whatsoever, or any form of communication. And there were KYCs involved in getting your SIM cards. You know, there's the introduction of the NIN, the BVN, and all the Ns, which is actually meant to secure us. Some people don't like it. Oh, it's stressful. Look, that stress is good. My own thing now is, shouldn't we use that and the monies that are paid to track these criminals down?
Them. Yeah.
There should be a way to triangulate those numbers and say, okay, at least these people are precisely at this point, or maybe the drop-off zone might not be a good place to intercept them. But again, you know, there should be a way to insert chips in the money. There should be a way to put markers on the money and trace it. They used to do it way back before technology came.
They used to.
With technology, it's supposed to be
Magnote. The detectives use
so
it.
now at this point,
Most
I'm
of the
not sure
time.
that they're trying to track them. It is how to recover
It's how to recover.
the children.
It's
Because
part
I
of
don't.
tracking.
I'm not talking about this.
It's even
ones
part of
only
tracking, Dolupo.
in specific
Because we
terms.
need it. We need that kind of.
Even after they are released, these guys will still be free. That's what I am talking about. The fact that
we need to.
even if they are intimidated into releasing these kids without any form of ransom being paid, they will still strike again. I'm talking about how to stop them.
They're thinking of the next move now. They act somewhere thinking of the next move.
But they communicate. They use phones. There must be a way. There must be a way. There must be a way to use technology to track these people.
Get a lot of intelligence.
There must be a way.
We definitely will see how that goes. I'm still talking about the security issues. We're going all the way to the House of Representatives, where the House of Reps today appealed to the military to refrain from retaliating against innocent Deltans in the wake of the murder of their colleagues. So now this is coming off the murdering of
yeah,
16 soldiers. There's been a lot of talk back and forth. A lot of people have said a lot of things on social media, how the army did not come for peacekeeping, how they came to side one person to another. You know, there's a lot of back and forth. But it still does not justify killing anybody.
See, Dolupo,
So,
was it yesterday or today or this morning that the military, the army, released the photographs of the murdered
yeah.
and their names? I was touched. I didn't even know what to say. I saw the lists, and they were actually saying, almost like saying, died in active service. Was that an accident? Were they involved in an air crash? Were they involved when were they moving? Just a minute, please. Were they involved from moving in a boat ride or something, or they were bombed? No, they were actually murdered. That is a big criminal offense. These guys were in their uniforms with their guns and everything. That they actually fought a war against the military. I found it so difficult to believe. And you know, it's so funny the way some people look at it. Now the children of these soldiers, of these great men, are already fatherless at the moment.
Yeah.
They probably also probably some of them probably have lost their mothers before, if not, excuse, right? But the fact is that something has gone wrong in their family setting.
Oh yeah.
And it is so shocking. It is so honestly shocking. And people are saying now that they were there, it's not their job to go there. They were actually, you know, for me, it's just a little bit of something that had been brewing for a long time. I've lost it so far. It's sickening. And anybody will look back, and I asked Shola something earlier, and I said it. I said, look, they have found the bodies, some floating on the riverbanks, okay? The weapons they were carrying, where are those weapons? They're silent about the weapons. I can tell you for free, I have a feeling those weapons are also disappeared.
You know,
it reinforces something from the other camp.
I totally feel
moving.
I feel the emotions that Tokunbo, you know, has shared here today, and I'm 100% key into it. Like, those are my thoughts too. Like, wondering how this happened, and we always find a way to politicize everything that happens in Nigeria. You find a group of people already condemning the military and insinuating a whole lot of things. But I was reading from 7 officers who are on social media. There are a couple of them that I follow, and I was reading from them, and they gave us the profile of the commander of this team that was murdered, that were massacred. And he's one of those guys that have been very active in the northeastern corridor, the theater there. You know, I think it was instrumental to the taking of Mate. Okay. And everybody knows that the Battle of Mate was mad. Like, big. If you don't know, just go and search for this. A.H. Ali. Now, they are saying, I've read from 2 different people, they're saying that if they had gone there, even just with their numbers, 20-something of them, they would have leveled that city still, if they had gone there to fight. To fight, yeah. That for them to have been overwhelmed showed that they went there peacefully. Okay. That forget anything. People are insinuating, oh, they're into bunkering and what. The guy said, look, that do you know what it means for someone like this Ali, that it actually led a battle. He actually led a battle that lasted for days, and he overcame those seasoned criminals. Yeah. Not to talk of some miscreants in the creeks or wherever, thinking that they can be funny and all. Do you understand? So he didn't go or lead his team there to fight. It is obvious. Because if they did, there will be at least one casualty on the part of the villagers. At least one. the villagers will be able to say, they started it, they killed this person, then the youths now responded or whatever. Do you notice that they're not saying that?
They're not saying that.
They just, they were supporting one military group or one security company, but it is glaring that these guys were murdered in cold blood. Because gallant soldiers, especially Nigerian amphibious, for that matter, they don't go down like that.
They don't.
It's it might how do I say it? I don't know how or what the government wants to do at this point to appease the military. Because even if you say that, okay, they should not retaliate, it's going to be very difficult, one. Two, even if they don't, whatever peacekeeping or whatever fights that is happening in that town, are you going to call on the military tomorrow and they will answer you? They won't. And it's going to trickle down, even as far as the police and the, what's it called, and NSCDC. When they will look at you and like, okay, when you can kill soldiers, who are we? They literally are doing more. They literally did more harm than good to themselves, because there's no how. We're human beings. You end up killing a set of people, and then you now expect those people to now come and save you next time. They're not going to.
Adding to the line that Dolupo has told, it's actually very normal that people will be like, we went to protect them, and they killed our brothers. Why should we go back? Give us one good reason, just one good reason why we should go. And why should we go back to protect and not retaliate? Now, so far, so good. I am extremely happy that the Nigerian army has displayed the highest level of professionalism. And I'm also calling out our brothers and sisters in the media who are carrying all these fake stories about a reprisal attack that never happened. They went as far as showing old videos of something that happened in Bayelsa State and say that the army had responded in Okuama, which is not true. It is not true. Kudos to the governor of Delta. A lot of people like to abuse him. But I say kudos to him because he has also, called them out and stood on the part of the military. He's like, they must get the criminals out. The smartest thing that any president can do is to say, yes, go and get those guys. Because if he had said, oh, no, we'll take, that would have been like him losing face and control. But now, the military have the right. But I would also plead that they do not go. They have been containing it since Thursday. This thing happened on Thursday. We only heard about it on Saturday. They've contained it for about a week. I pray that they do not go on any form of reprisal. That let them go for the criminals. Only the criminals.
But they need to be found. Those people.
There's some people that were already picked up in Bayelsa State. They ran as far as Bayelsa. Some weapons were recovered, But I saw machetes. I didn't see guns really, and all of that. But this also speaks to how Nigeria has a lot of work to do when it comes to security. Last week, the same army, uncovered a gun factory in the same Delta. In the forest.
Yes.
There's a lot of things going on. So apart from the guns that are being imported into Nigeria, I think we even have a bigger scare of the ones that are being locally. Remember that the Nigerian police found a gun factory in Plateau State, in Jos, that axis, just 3 weeks ago. So how many other local gun manufacturing factories exist? We need to do more, in the area of intelligence gathering.
Intelligence gathering, Shola, is very tough. And one thing I also want to add here is this. We have been saying it back and forth and back, going back history, and we want to see deterrence being meted out.
Yeah.
We this idea of this happened, and then
Then
they
you move
killed
on,
it,
and
they
you move
push it
on.
on the carpet,
move on,
and you
yeah.
move on from there.
Yeah.
Everything is back to
It
normal.
doesn't work. It
Nothing
shouldn't
is
work.
never back to normal. There's a security person I was talking to, fairly old man, and he was telling me, he says, what baffles him really is the fact that whenever we feel that everything is back to normal,
We just move on.
we just move on.
Move on.
Meanwhile, those
the
terrorists, they are actually recouping and
They
planning
are,
again for
they
another
are, they
strike.
are.
So
I
when you
agree.
think that all is normal, they just come out to another plan.
Exactly, and then they take you by surprise again.
So
Exactly.
intelligence reporting must be everlasting.
I
You
agree.
can't stop that.
Anyway, we'll see where that will be going. Still, since we're talking about the House of Representatives, there's a bit of news that's coming from there. Also, where they have ordered the Ministry of Labor and the Ministry of Industry, to stop UK lawyers from practicing in Nigeria. So apparently, there is a law that there is an MOU that the Foreign Ministry in Nigeria and the UK are trying to work out on how, with credentials in either country, you might be able to work. Now, they're saying that when it comes to the legal aspect of this document being signed, it only allows UK lawyers to practice in Nigeria, but does not allow Nigerian lawyers to practice in the UK. So they're like that. It does not favor Nigeria in any way. So they've asked the committee to check into it and come back in 2 weeks, but that at the moment, the signing of that document needs to be stopped.
Amen.
Until it's corrected.
Amen and amen.
Can I do this for them, please?
You know,
look,
when they do well, we must commend them. Because
super.
why are you signing a one-sided document? Why are you signing? Look, this is 2024.
Who crafted that in this day and age?
Are we not supposed to move away from colonialism and all the things that keep us backwards?
So it's okay. Their degree is okay to work in Nigeria, but our own degree is not okay.
No.
I remember.
No, it's
I
not.
remember about 18 years ago when a couple of my friends who were doctors had moved to the UK to practice. They couldn't practice immediately. They had to take exams and go to school for a bit. And all. These are doctors. These are doctors who are already serving in Nigerian hospitals.
Yeah, it happens everywhere.
They have to go through that. About 2 or 3 of them that went to America also went through the same process before they were now certified as general practitioners or whatever to practice medicine. This is after spending 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in Nigeria. Why do we think that they are superior to us? Because if they were,
exactly,
they would not be getting our people to come to that side to come and work. So please, the minister that was crafting this thing, please don't try it again. And big shout out to the House of Reps on this one.
Okay, now let's move on from that. Let's go to the courts. Now, interestingly,
You said the minister should not try it again, right?
Yes, now don't try such a thing.
Don't try it again. That's a word of marble for me.
Now we're going to the courts where there's an interesting case about Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu had a court appearance today, and there are a lot of things coming out of it. First things first, for people that do not know, the court has now denied him bail again. He's gone to court again to ask for bail a second time, and he has now been denied. First of all, the court also dismissed his lawyer's appeal against the police and the DSS, saying that something treatment. Oh, what's that English? There was like bad treatment, maltreatment against him and all that. Now the court has first dismissed that. Now they have now also denied him bail. Now, in denying him bail, there are two things. His lawyer also asked for him to be moved to Kuje prison. So today in court, he was allowed to speak. And he said that there's a conspiracy for him to die in the DSS custody, saying that the DSS are just patching him up. He even was said to have opened up his shirt to the judge to show that he has some heart disease.
Heart disease.
Yeah, that he has heart disease and they're always ill. Anyway, that there's a lot that the DSS is just patching him up, that if he goes to Kuje prison, he has cognitive heart disease, that if he goes to Kuje prison, that he will get proper treatment, that the doctors treating him at the DSS facility do not have the drugs to take care of him, saying the DSS is just patching him up, and that there's a conspiracy for him to die there, and that according to the since the Supreme Court had said that he did not jump bail, they could have, even if they don't take him to Kuje prison, they could, put him under house arrest or something, but not DSS custody. However, the judge, she said, and I quote, she's going to keep him where she deems fit. And Kuje prison was out of it, so he's supposed to go back to DSS custody.
Even if you think you know the whole legal issues around Nnamdi Kanu's arrest, you must still follow the law. And so Nnamdi Kanu is not guilty until he has been pronounced guilty. So it is alleged that he has committed all these crimes that he's been held for. And this is a fact. That's what it is. However, his health is paramount. If the DSS are insisting on keeping him in their custody, then they must give him the very best of health. Their case goes poof if something happens to the man.
But is he ill though?
He says he is.
He says he is.
What you
Is
do,
he as ill
what
as
you do,
he claims?
look, okay, so good question. There's nothing wrong with your question. But what you do, I think what you do in this situation is get an independent doctor. Do a proper assessment. If you have to move equipment to the DSS office for this, let them give him a clean bill of health or otherwise. But however, it is within his rights to receive proper health care. Now, even in Kuje, he might not get it. But I think that wherever he is, they must make sure that he gets the very best of health care. That's the least they can do for him, pending when he wins his case or loses the case.
I don't think that they should act otherwise, because that he's still within their custody is an egg that should be handled with care.
Very, very much care.
Nothing must happen. Nothing must go wrong.
It must not crack.
And yes, the best of medical treatment he has to receive. That's what I think. And it has to be properly done and promptly too. Because had I known is a hallmark of I should have. So I think we should think about it critically.
Nothing must happen to the man, regardless of what you feel about him and all of that.
I don't know. When you say nothing must happen to him, I don't understand. First things first, I feel that a lot of people that get arrested, sickness is always the first thing. They never realize that they're ill until they're in custody. I think that it is.
Can I counter that for a second?
Okay, go ahead.
One of the reasons why this will always happen is that, you see, when you have freedom, your mind, your body, and your soul is free.
And so don't do things that will cause you to not have your freedom.
No. That's secondary. What we're talking about now is the causative.
No, it's not subjective.
Okay, I'll tell you why.
It's not subjective.
Let Shola
Don't do what you would not put you in confinement.
You're not going to let me make my point.
Let him
you're
land.
Preempting me.
You're
preempting me, And the truth that we all know, God forbid, if we're bound in this room for longer than the 1 hour of Boomba, there will be problems.
But of course, I want to break through the wall.
There will be problems.
I want to break through the wall.
The truth is, I know that we always say this, but if you look at it in clear terms, you understand that the human mind is our biggest strength. And once you start to lose your strength in your mind, you start to lose a whole lot of things. That's one. Two, physically also, your inactivity, your movement is, especially for someone like him now, who is not even in prison. In prison, they allow them to walk around the yard and do other things. You know, all of those things are bound to accentuate any medical condition you have.
Mm-hmm.
So at times, it's not them pretending to be sick. It is the illness manifesting based on them being locked up.
Yeah. It's difficult, Dolupo, for them to fake it. However, hold it. Let me. Look what I mean.
In this country,
Look what let me look.
With the things that we have
You
seen,
see, look at you now. I believe in Nigeria a lot.
I'm not saying I don't believe in Nigeria,
Okay, now-
but with things that we
now-
have seen,
now, no.
I don't think that
Do
you
you know
should
why
say
it's
that.
peculiar? Why it's peculiar?
Ah.
This case is a special case. This is this is not just a criminal case. This is not somebody stole down the road and is being made to pay the price. It's more than that. Okay, it's high. And you see, all eyes are on this particular case all over the world. They are actually watching this case. So I also believe that when it comes to health issues, it has to be properly, executed in his favor. In his favor. I don't know where it's written. I don't know where I got this idea from. They always say somehow that when hardened issues, people who have been locked up really are being given the best of treatment until they are proven guilty or when the cases have been decided. During that period, they give them anything they want, So we don't know. We only hear and we guess. But back to it, it just has to be well done. So we don't eat it up. That's for me.
Anyway, Sha, one good thing that came out of it that the court had now ordered accelerated hearing for this, so that and they have ordered the prosecution to begin the case to call the first witness. That is the only thing that she can do for him at the moment, so that.
But we must not lose sight of the fact that Nnamdi Kanu made some pronouncements in court today.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that he had talked about how
The violence
something about violence
in the
and
southeast.
that the violence that anybody that causes any form of violence is not doing what IPOB says. But I have a problem with that.
Violence. Let's put it on there. But it's protesting.
No, violence. Anybody that is causing any form of violence.
What type of violence?
I don't know. Because you can protest without
so-
violence, actually.
You can.
So it's a good question that Tokunbo asked. What does he mean by violence? So one of the violent actions that is likely prevalent in the southeastern part of Nigeria is the enforcement of a sit-at-home order on Mondays and on days where Nnamdi Kanu is in court. If Nnamdi Kanu is taken to court on a Thursday or Friday, there's an announcement by the IPOB leaders that people should sit at home. And it's not just IPOB members. It's the entire Southeast. Everything is shut down. Now, for people who think, look, I need to make a living today, they face violence. In enforcing this sit-at-home order, people have been dealt with in many ways.
Killed, maimed.
In many ways. School children who had exams to write, we've seen videos of them being punished with their teachers. All sorts of things has happened. Vehicles get snatched or burnt. Yeah, so that's one of the violence that we're referring to.
So today he has denounced it in court, right? Am I right to say he denounced that in
He
court?
seemed to have denounced
That is not coming from.
It's not him.
It's not him.
But I'm sorry. There have been reports. And I think that even violence is one of the reasons why he's in custody. So is he saying that he has turned a new leaf? Or there are videos of him, if I remember correctly, during NSAS, there are actually videos, not just audio, videos of him
During
talking,
NSAS.
Yes.
Encouraging violence.
encouraging violence, talking about
We
how
won't
they
quote
need
him
to...
verbatim because that means we're also following into...
Yeah, that
We have to be careful there.
talking about a lot of things, and
encouraging
violence, and then you now come up and now you are suddenly chased. No, I don't. I think that it is not it is.
Why use the word chaste in this context and setting?
I don't know. I don't even know what other words like. You're suddenly
it happens to me too.
now
When something,
nice.
I understand.
Do you understand?
I
You're
get
suddenly
you.
now
I get
nice
you.
and
No, because
you know it doesn't make sense.
It's overwhelming.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
All right, so my call now is to the people who claim that they are representing Nnamdi Kanu. Can you kindly stop the violence? You heard your leader. He has spoken. And he says anybody that does it is a criminal.
Okay. You should probably talk to himself first. Anyway, moving on from that quickly, let's go as the federal government is now appealing to SSANU and NASU to call off the warning strike. They have begun, I think, a 7-day warning strike. And basically, it's all the basis of money that the former president, Buhari, had said he was not going to pay. And the current president, I think, had promised to pay a part of it. And they're claiming that they have not been paid that money.
Now, for all of you who are wondering what's SSANU, so we always have to explain to you guys because we know we have a global audience. This SSANU is SSANU, and it's a group of it's the Association of Senior Staff Workers, of universities. SSANU, Senior Staff something workers, yeah. And NASU is the Non-Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, and they would usually wait. You see, it's a pattern. When the Association of Lecturers...
Can we explain that?
Yeah.
SSANU, they are the lecturers.
Senior staff.
No, senior staff. They're
not lecturers.
They're not lecturers.
Not lecturers.
Yeah,
they're
the
lecturers. They're part
no,
of it.
no,
Okay.
they're not. They're not. The lecturers are clearly represented by ASU. They're clearly
okay. So let me
ASU.
break down a little things that I know.
They're not.
For SSANU.
SSANU does not speak for lecturers in quote. And I was trying to make a point. You can correct me.
No, go ahead.
Afterwards,
No,
I was trying to make a point before.
I just needed to move so that
Yeah, I was actually
Yeah.
about to make a point before Tokunbo raised his voice or objection or whatever, which is actually part of the bar. So, SSANU and NASU would usually wait. It's a pattern, like I was saying. They would wait until ASU has made its own noise and gotten its own money or whatever, then they strike. It's a pattern. Go and check the history of this country. After ASU has done whatever, there will always be one SSANU and one NASU strike somewhere. It's a standard. It's a pattern. So when you think you're done, it's actually an hydra-headed monster. When you think you're done with ASU, we pay them the 6 months that they are fighting for, or the 7 months that they are fighting for. SSANU strikes, NASU strikes, standard. Now, go ahead.
Now, so I was going to say that senior staff association at times it encompasses the senior part of ASU as well.
Okay.
And also senior staff of the non-academic staff, basically. NASU is the junior staff.
Is the junior staff
of the non-academic.
Good.
So
good.
Basically, like he had said, it's their usual way.
Good.
My issue with this is that somebody was not going to give you 1 naira. Another person now said, out of 7 naira or 8 naira this person was owing you, I will pay you 4 naira. But I don't have the money yet. You are now fighting and you are now in a chokehold that you must pay this body by force, by fire.
Okay.
And it reeks of some level of entitlement. Sadly, I think the president brought this on himself.
Current president?
Yes, President Tinubu brought it on himself.
Okay.
I personally feel, and I agreed with what former President Buhari did, no work, no pay. And at the point when he was coming back, they had already stopped the strikes anyway. So, it's not your business. You did not need to rock the boat. Leave it the way it is. The person did not pay you. It was not in my tenure, so I don't have any business with it. Are your salaries getting paid now as at when due? Yes, and we move on.
Perhaps we should go back a little bit. Earlier, Shola was talking to me about, explaining something to me. It was very, very, very germane. The story behind how Buhari's tenure came in and into this foray, why, when he agreed to pay and not pay, what was he owing them? What really happened?
It wasn't owing. They, of course, ASU's usual fight of there's some old allocations, not monies. Maybe part of it was research money that they want.
No. Did they go
and
on
all
strike?
that.
They went on strike
Yes,
before.
for months.
They went on strike before.
Yes, they did.
But the court came out and said that they didn't have the right to extend beyond a particular time.
Yes, I think you can do only 1 month or something. So after that point, the president now came up with they now invoked the no work, no pay labor law.
Okay.
So after the stipulated time that you can go on strike, after that you are not going to get paid. Which the president, as at then, was vehement and did not pay them.
We constantly compare Nigeria to the SSANU crimes and say, oh, in the UK, in the US, this cannot happen, and also in the US, what ASU is asking for cannot happen. I know that I have friends who are doctors in the UK, and you know they've been going on strike intermittently in the UK.
Oh yeah, but it's planned.
But you know what they do? They tell you how long they are going to strike for, and because they cannot strike beyond a certain number of days. If they they don't get paid. Do you understand? So how is it possible that you can hold a country to ransom because you're lecturers, and you can go on strike for 7 to 9 months, and you still want to get paid for those months that you didn't work? This is the issue. And this president, Tinubu, thinking that he's Jagaban, he wants to make everybody his friend, said he will pay a part of it. You don't. Because even in America, even in the UK, the strikes cannot go beyond a certain number of days. Their strikes, in the last 1.5 years in the UK, there have been strikes even in the academia.
Okay.
So you're wondering, so these people too, they strike. What did they vex for? It's the same place that my brothers are going to and my sisters are going to anyway, but they say it's a better condition than our own, but it's fine. But there too, they know that they cannot strike beyond a certain number of days. But you are here striking for 9 months, keeping children at home for years and months, and you want to get paid for nothing.
You know why I allowed that to be explained is because right from the late 60s and into 70s, early 70s in this country. 80s, thank you.
90s.
We have been, right from, so continue, yes, you're right, to 2024, we have been so short-changed in many ways by this SSANU, NASU, SSASU issues. And I'll shock you to say most of the people who now control the SSANU, NASU, SSASUs,
They are victims.
They are victims too. They were there in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Sadly, and then they now continue the vicious cycle.
So I think we should all sit down and change the paradigm.
Does it even make any sense?
It doesn't make sense anymore. By the way, look, when kidnappers or terrorists are being caught, they usually give an age range of them. They are young folks, aren't they? Okay? And I do not have the statistics to prove, but I can tell you, a little bit of reasoning will let you know that most of them were fallout of issues where the schools had shut down, where the universities had shut down, no lectures, no lecturer. You know, these are the things that go on and on and on. People who head NASU, SSASU should please sit down. Let us change the paradigm. And by the way, let's come back home a little bit. When they were explaining themselves yesterday on TV, they also said they are yet to listen to us. Nobody wants to listen to us. The meetings have been called, they don't address the issues. They sent representatives to the House. The head of House has not even seen us.
But that's the problem, is because you are even having a conversation at all. This conversation would not have happened, or these issues would not have started if you did not rock the boat. I think the federal government brought this upon themselves. That's why anybody will feel entitled for asking and going on strike for monies you never worked for.
Right.
It's just, it's ridiculous. Maybe if a lecturer explains it to me, because I don't understand it.
I don't know. I think we need to help solve this issue. If you're listening and watching, you think there's a way out, let's have and share your thoughts with us. Have and share your thoughts with us. We would look into it. But for now, it's not just looking good. So off the schools again, off the campuses again. Campuses are already quiet and silent already. Why?
The sad part with especially when
Always.
NASU goes on strike is that lecturers will be in school, but NASU are the ones that will open your lecture theaters. They're the ones that are in charge of the cleaning of the hostels, the gates and all that. So they literally just cripple everything.
They lock the gates and nobody's going to open it.
Nobody's going to open it. So.
Everything is just crippled, and it's such a very sad thing. But we'll see where this conversation is going. Now let's move on quickly from it. And there's a bit of news from the EFCC, as the EFCC is now rearranged a former PDP National Chairman Bello Mohammed over an alleged 300 million naira fraud.
Yeah, we always hear about these big figures, but what comes out of it, nobody knows. You know, there has to be repercussions for everything. It's alleged, right? But once it's proven that the man done stole the money, please deal with him. Like, you have laws now. Yeah. Even if I feel that our laws are outdated and they need to be upgraded.
Yeah.
You know, because at times you might find someone in contravention of a particular crime or law now, or particular law, and the fine is just a slap on the wrist.
It's ridiculous.
So that encourages crime, thinking that, okay, even if they catch me, it's 3 months in jail and 200,000 naira fine. Do you understand? As against when the person looks at you and like, hey, 25 billion, I'm not committing this crime.
Yeah,
we need to upgrade our laws.
I totally agree. Now, also, NAPTIP, that's the National Agency for Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, have now arraigned a hospital and 4 persons for organ harvesting in Abuja.
There's a problem in that particular place, and I'm thinking it's the same story. And shout out to the Nigerian media, because when they work well. So that hospital is known for bringing unsuspecting Nigerians in and offering them money for parts of their body. So they would make sure that they already have a demand for it. So they would have a patient that needs a transplant, and they would have people go out, go get some regular guy on the street. And if it's a match, you know, they pay them some cheap 2 million, 1 million, some stupid amount that an agency still collects inside. Then they, you know, do the transplant and ask you to be on your merry way. It's a dangerous thing, and most of the people that it has happened to don't even understand what they are getting into. Most donors would usually do it out of
pity,
out of love or friendship or pity or whatever.
Emotions.
You know, funny thing is, even if it wasn't an organ, yesterday we were in the same situation, myself and Dolupo, at an hospital in Lagos. We were in the same situation, but that had to do with donating blood. And we did it voluntarily. Or I did it. Dolupo volunteered.
But
do you understand?
You did it.
What I'm trying to say in essence,
it was free.
That was voluntary. So imagine if you're now coerced and they say, "Oh, we give you this amount."
And I think that it's especially on vulnerable people
that they pick
when
up.
they know that this person
people are vulnerable.
this person is in need of money, and maybe someone that's not eating,
and they pay them pittance.
And then you now tell the person that someone that has not seen 5,000 naira in weeks, you now tell the person you want to pay the person 500,000. Oh my God! To them, it's a lot of money. But
he doesn't know what he's getting into.
It's such a sad issue because even people that donate organs willingly, there's still a lot of risks from the surgery itself, even the aftercare. It's a lot. And whether I like it or not, most of the time, even people that donate organs, they say that to a large extent, they need constant monitoring for
monitored.
years.
They need to
Because
be
if you're not
monitored.
careful, it automatically reduces your lifespan.
It does, of course. It's a whole organ you're giving out.
So you cannot imagine. It's such a very, 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 very sad thing that a whole hospital, apparently, they say that they have already performed these on 3 patients.
They're saying 3, but if they dig deeper, it's more than 3.
Can we say it's just because of poverty?
It's not just poverty, it's greed and everything mixed together.
Greed.
It's a terrible cocktail. And it's easy for the person who is mixing the cocktail as against the people who have to drink
Just
it.
remember there's this, no more sitting senator. There's a senator or a former senator that is actually in jail for
something similar in
the UK.
And he actually went to jail. So imagine
Now, is
how
this the
these ones
first
are being
time?
treated with kid
Is
gloves.
this the first time
in Nigeria.
we're accusing the hospital of harvesting?
No, it's not.
Yeah, there's another one in Jos that...
How long ago was that?
A few months ago. There's another one in Jos. It's actually a fake hospital in quote because they're not really registered. And people go there. Like, imagine when you go in for treatment for appendicitis and you leave the place and your
Yes,
organs...
now
Don't go
there's a
there.
story
I
about
know.
an appendix
I know where you're going.
being taken off and then
your
you
organs
realize
have been
that...
harvested.
I know. When
You don't even know.
Now, when they cut them,
And you don't even know that
when they
done it.
cut them, right? What happened to them?
They don't know. They
No,
just
you know,
patch them up and send
They
them
patch
off.
them up and then you realize that you're
No,
not
I'm
very
talking
well.
about- I'm not talking about those guys whose organs have been stolen of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about when it was discovered that this hospital does that.
Yeah, they went to shut them down and all of that.
They shut them
I
down
know that-
alone.
I don't know
alone.
if that case is in court.
we,
I don't know.
we'll check that because that's what I keep saying. There must be some deterrence. There must be. There
so
must
before
be.
you move to your next story, one of the stories on our headline is actually the fact that the Port Harcourt refinery might be on stream fully, commercially, at the end of this month. And the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, their chairman, Mr. Maikandi, is saying that there's a possibility of the reduction in the pump price of fuel if this happens. And they're asking their members, especially who are close to Port Harcourt, that they're going to make them move produce from there or product from there, which will reduce the cost of the pump price of fuel.
That would be great. But the possibility there, he says.
Yeah, he said it. There's a high possibility, but nobody knows the value that will be taken off the pump price. But whatever value that is taken off is a plus for all of us that buy fuel.
That, again, that refinery is up and running.
Yeah, Port Harcourt, after all said and done.
Yeah.
So now the conversation is how much is it really going to reduce the pump price? How much will it? And I think that there's also an angle that a lot of people are not looking at. I personally feel that it might reduce it, but if we look at it, it's most likely just the cost of importation, which might be a lot. We never can say. But there are two things for me. Number one, well, whatever is being produced in the Port Harcourt refinery, would it be enough for what we need now? Because if I remember
Demand
correctly,
and supply.
yes, the Dangote refinery have not started pushing out stuff. Even if they have, they are not pushing out PMS, which is one of the most, if not the most used fuel that we use at the moment. So whatever it is, would it be enough, or would it just be enough for maybe the south and maybe just the southeast? Also, I think that another thing that people also need to look at is that, take for example Lagos. Lagos probably has one of the cheapest fuel pump price in the country, because as you move up south
They're more
to the
expensive.
north, it gets more expensive, of course, because of transport. Fuel gets brought in from Lagos, so the distance and transport is cheaper. So if fuel is coming from Port Harcourt, that also means whatever drop in price, places like Lagos that has been enjoying cheaper fuel than most people, they need to brace themselves.
The
No,
weight,
it
the weight is on
it
the
might not
nose.
work like the way you said it, because if you understand how Nigeria's petroleum industry is structured, there are barges that can move refined products from Port Harcourt to Lagos, to the tank farms in Lagos, for next to nothing. Like if you look at it, they're not going to move it by the 33 or 45 or 55,000 tanks on road. They're going to move it by water, which is going to make it easier. That's one, and so it might not be like that. The most important thing is to establish the cost of the crude. If they're getting their crude locally, what is the landing cost of the crude? You get the process of refining is also added to it. That determines the ex-depot price, which will also influence the cost of the price at the pump. So the cost of logistics might not affect a lot of places that are riverine because it's easier to move refined product from Port Harcourt to Lagos by barge. You move it by a barge. It's not going to go in the trucks and drive 21 hours, 18 hours, or 48 hours.
So why don't we do that already?
Do that already with what?
With fuel that's coming into Lagos, why doesn't it go through that?
So the fuel that is coming into Lagos is imported by individuals who would use monies that they usually get from the banks or whatever and also pay for tank farms. And for every time their fuel lands in Lagos, there's a landing cost.
That's right.
Then if they own the tank farms, they will not charge themselves the cost of tank farm, but they will factor it into the cost. Then your trucks come there to load and distribute fuel all around Nigeria. But if Port Harcourt is refining, you can move refined products to Lagos and drop in the same tank farms instead of the fuel that's coming from Europe or other parts of the world. It's two different things. It's two different things. So if you're refining, if I'm bringing in fuel, if I'm bringing in fuel to the Lagos axis, the Apapa axis where all the tank farms are located, I would rather sell to the people who are already coming here because it's a deregulated market. I would rather sell to the people who are coming to me in Lagos to take fuel to Potiskum, to Damaturu, to wherever, as against just putting it on a badge to Port Harcourt because I'm a businessman. But now the NNPCL, even if it's a business, has shares owned by government. And so they would rather have the cost driven down. And I know that there are badges. It would be completely stupid to load tankers, 33,000 liters, 40, 45, 55,000 liters, and start shipping them to Lagos that has all the tank farms.
Okay. From the way it is, though, whether we like it or not, whatever is coming is going to affect the current price.
It has to.
So
it has
fingers
to.
crossed.
The reason why it might not be much is the source of the crude and the value
of crude coming in, and how much has been expended so far in production.
Okay, so we'll see. We'll see where that is going to, if truly the price would calm down. Now, quickly before we go, Edo Assembly has now asked the Chief Judge of the state to set up a panel to investigate the Deputy Governor. The story of the impeachment of the Deputy Governor. We'll see where that drama is going to. Also, the APC has now picked April 25 for the primaries or in Ondo State. They're asking people to buy forms at 50 million naira.
They need money to run their party.
50 what?
Million
for governorship.
naira.
I think that's how much they charged at the last elections anyway. So
Okay.
the inflation has not affected the price of the
Is it not
ticket
paper?
for
Is it not what?
inflation.
And that's what I say. It's not paper that they
The
are
woman that is selling granite, is it not bottle that she picked on the road that she just did she not increase the price?
So inflation has increased.
Inflation
paper
has
again.
affected everything. Sadly, it has not affected
Shala, is that your area?
my area.
Yeah.
What do you mean by my area?
Let's come and be going.
Okay.
What do you mean by my area?
Because we need somebody to be there.
Oh,
When?
Ondo?
I'm asking. We need
What do
somebody
you mean
to
by
be there.
area? It's my state now.
Okay, fine.
So
why
he's
you-
asking.
it's open.
Why are you speaking
we
area
need we
now?
need somebody to be there.
It's my state.
Do,
Ondo,
question mark. Do you want to go?
Yeah, pay me, I will go.
Okay, at this point, it's time to come and be going. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time to give you another wonderful edition of The Bar. Do have a beautiful, beautiful day ahead.